I gotta play
Okay,
something.
we are officially recording, guys. Feel official.
Just unmute yourself so they can talk.
Okay, so you guys know the rules, right? 20 minutes. However long for an opening, however long for responses, and then the closing.
Yep.
Okay, so first one. Wait, we're not doing Cavendish versus Kinemon, right? Anymore?
No.
Nope.
Where are the new fights?
In server now.
You're right. Good job.
Zayat versus Aeon.
Wait, what's Zayat versus Aeon? Is that Blackbeard versus Akainu?
Yeah.
Blackbeard versus Akainu.
Who has what?
Zayat has Akainu.
Two.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Got skim and fell down also.
So I guess I'll get a timer. I want you guys to know that this is just a limit. You know, if you're done early, you can say you're done early, and then we'll move on to the next person. It doesn't mean that the next person will have more time. They'll still have a limit of 5 minutes for the opening. Same with the other things. What else? What am I missing? Oh yeah. I asked that everyone mutes their mic. Whoever's not participating, which they've already done. I'll mute my mic, but then like if someone's going over 5 minutes, I'll unmute it to. Well, yeah. Either if they're going over 5 minutes, I'll stop them for the opening at least, and then or if they're done, then like I'll unmute myself to say now let's have the other person go. How should we do this? We could do it to like we could leave it to random fate. Like I flip a coin and then see who goes first.
I'm good with Dark.
I'm fine with going first if you want me to.
Now both of you are okay with going first.
No, I'm good with Dark going first.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fair. Okay. I guess I'll yeah, let's begin. Start, go.
Okay. So let's get this clear. Zoro is not beating Law, first things first, because Law is built up as one of Luffy's competitors, and Zoro's not taking down Luffy's opponents. Like, I'm just going to lay that very clear. Law was, when we introduced the story, he's a warlord, okay? And these guys are supposed to be the best in the entire story. Like, flat out, like, it's no second-rate pirate's going to go ahead and take him down. Like, sorry. Law is cleanly beating Zoro, like based off the story, first and foremost. The second thing is we have to go into the feats of the story, is that Law, his fruit is considered the ultimate fruit in the story. It's the best. Like, it has the most potential. It gives him the ability to teleport around, evading, the potential to avoid any attack coming at him. If you throw a projectile at him, he's literally redirecting that and it's not hitting him. You're dealing with your own attacks, topped on with him then throwing his own slashes, which can manipulate your matter, bypassing all durability. So it doesn't matter how tanky you are, you're getting cut by it. And once you're cut, it's done. He manipulates you and it's over. He has a wide variety of moves that can instantly take you down. One hit, it's over. Scalpel hits you in the heart, you're done. He hits you with the regular slicing move, you're done. He does radio knife, you can't even put yourself back together. Gamma Knife completely destroys all your insides. The only reason Doflamingo survived is purely because the Devil Fruit countered it. Just about anyone else would die to Gamma Knife. It's over. And even characters, Doflamingo tried to say that, oh, you can stop his ability with Haki. Oh, Virgo's so strong. He has an invincible Haki. Caesar Clown hyped it up. Everyone said that this guy's got like one of the best Hakis they know in the series. And Law, once he got his heart, instantly took him out. It was nothing to him. even if he has a limit on that, we haven't seen it, and vastly strong characters have gotten obliterated by him. You take into account Smoker. Smoker is a character, when Law fought him, he was teleporting, evading all his attacks, completely overwhelming. Smoker's speed didn't matter. He tried to grab Law just warped away and got around him. We saw that Smoker was fast enough to be then Gear Second Luffy when they were racing, like from the gas explosion to trying to find Virgo and Caesar Clown. Smoker reached his destination before Luffy could in Gear Second, meaning that Law is capable of handling even Gear Second speeds, and he basically low diff Smoker, like, in all honesty. So his speed, because his Law's speed, durability, and his fruit is way too broken, Zoro just doesn't have an opportunity to utilize his strength to taking down Law. And that's my initial phase.
Okay. Now.
All right. So the reasons that Law is not defeating Zoro is because Law doesn't have the requisite base stats to defeat Zoro. You know, Law just has better base, or Zoro just has better base stats. He has better stamina, better endurance, and Law's fruit is highly draining on his stamina, which would hurt him, especially when he makes him larger.
This is the way you're talking. It sounds like you're like countering Hidden Hockey's.
No, these were my planned openings.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Law's fruit is weakened more at range because it takes more of his stamina. And Zoro, with how strong he is, cannot get one shot, not by, almost any attack. He has the endurance and the feats. Law's his strength relies primarily on his devil fruit, while Zoro's strength relies on his stats, which in a battle is a more reliable form of is more reliable to fight with. And that's the basic point, that Law really doesn't have much room to work with. Considering his low base stats, he cannot mess up. Zoro has the stamina and the endurance to be able to make a few mistakes, even if those mistakes will hurt a lot. Law can't make one. And those are my reasonings.
All right. So this is where a common misconception that people have is that Law actually doesn't really have good base physical stats, and we've actually been shown the opposite. He took repeated abuse from Virgo, from Doflamingo. Like, people like to look at the scene where Doflamingo had just chopped off his arm when Law was suspended, defenseless in the air, but that is just one defenseless scene. In other scenes, Law was putting up his hockey and blocking Doflamingo's rainbow string slash. We know how sharp those attacks are. It's like a razor blade slicing through all the buildings of Dressrosa, and Law was able to block those. He parried those blows. Doflamingo went for multiple slashes on Law, and Law with swordsmanship was parrying left and right, and at the same time was using his ability. He was simultaneously manipulating the environment while also parrying blows from Doflamingo and still teleporting. Okay, we also saw that when Virgo, he elbowed him right into his face, and Law just got right back, and Virgo punched him and kept repeatedly beating him up, and Law was fine. The only reason Virgo even blitzed him in the first place is because he had his heart, and he was squeezing his heart. Law was basically sitting there suffering heart attacks by Virgo squeezing his heart while he would then blitz him. Whereas when Law finally got his heart, Virgo, who has Soros to actually be ridiculously fast, and he's a vice admiral, top of the line, Law instantly reacted to him and chopped him down. You know, Doflamingo even said that if Law stayed in his crew, he would have been his right-hand man. Okay? So the whole idea that Law doesn't have physical stats, I just don't agree with it whatsoever. Law has great hockey, and the thing is, his fruit does take you out in one hit. Like, if Zoro gets scalpeled, his heart's ripped out and he's done. He's falling over. When Smoker got scalpeled, a very tanky character, a very physically savvy character who had subdued Luffy throughout the story, and was very strong. Law just ripped his heart out and he fell over. He was done. You know, Gamma Knife. Doflamingo, he fell over. When he got Gamma Knifed, he was on the floor. He only survived because he had a very specific Devil Fruit that countered Law. The main reason Doflamingo beat Law is because he knew every single thing about his abilities. He said, yo, we trained you. Gladius, he gave you your sniper skills. You know, Diamante, he gave you your swordsmanship skills. Like, there's nothing you have that I don't know. I can counter you, you know? Whereas someone like Zoro, he doesn't have that knowledge. If you're not a smart person, like, and unless you're some god tier character, fucking Yonko or anything, you're basically just gonna lose to Law because he's gonna outsmart you, and his fruit's the best in the story,
10 seconds
and it's
left.
gonna take you out. Okay? That's it.
Okay, so you said that Law, because of story beats, because of story beats and how the story is going, as he's supposed to be set up to be one of Luffy's rivals, cannot lose to Zoro. But that's not what's important. We're not talking about who's going to win in the story. We're talking about how people would fare if this world were real, you know, based on, you know, what we've seen of their current abilities. And you brought up that Law can cut through hockey because of his fight with Virgo. Yet at the bridge on the way to Greenbit, he wasn't able to cut through Doflamingo for some reason. And you brought up that Zoro can get one shot because of his heart. He can rip out his heart because of Gamma Knife. All the different things that Law can do, but Zoro is a much better tank than Smoker, and he has such, you know, ridiculous tanking feats. Like, look at Luffy, who was no endurance slouch pre-time skip. During Thriller Bark, he took enough pain, enough damage to be knocked out, yet pre-time skip, Zoro was able to take all the damage that he took from Thriller Bark, plus enough damage to, you know, knock Luffy out, and was still standing by the time that Sanji got there. And that's all I have to say.
All right, so first things first about the pain bubble feat, that's not even really like a durability feat. That's just pain and exhaustion. So yeah, he has great endurance. You know, that's good for him. But his durability is not dealing with Scalpel and Gamma Knife, okay? Because those moves don't even revolve around durability. Like, it doesn't matter how much he tanks. Like, Law's ability is broken. It bypasses all your defenses. The only thing that they said that could possibly stop it was your hockey. And the thing is, Law completely went through Virgo's hockey, who was super hyped up. The thing about Doflamingo not being cut is, I can't really recall the moment that you're talking about where Law tried to slice him and Doflamingo just stood there and took it. Like, I don't recall it ever there being a scene like that. I remember what I remember is that Doflamingo is able to attack Law before he even gets his blade swinging and counter him there, whereas Zoro's not going to be able to do any of that.
All right, now Peach, with your last closing statement.
Well, you brought up that Law got all his training from the Doflamingo family, and that's what gave Doflamingo an advantage. But the thing is, like, as a swordsman, Zoro is obviously superior. He was strong before he was trained by Mihawk, the greatest swordsman in the world, and obviously he's more competent than Diamante. And Doflamingo's right hand, you say that Law would be Doflamingo's right hand, but when you look at the two different right hands that Doflamingo could have had, Vergo and Treble, you'd be hard pressed to say that either of them would beat Zoro. Zoro just has endurance and hockey and swordsmanship feats. So it all comes down to, yeah, Law has a broken devil fruit, but Zoro's stats allow him to overcome that, and he's just in a higher tier than Law. He's in the tier of
You're done.
he's in the tier of Doflamingo himself, and not just, Doflamingo's first aid. Those are the feats that Zoro has,
Okay,
and remember, every feat that he's
closing
had
over.
time skip has been very casual.
I'm done.
That's it. I'm done.
Is that night? I'm the other night.
That's it. That's the debate.
Okay. I forgot to say a
So,
few things. Whatever.
I'm not sure if we should give out the points now, or if we should just record who we thought won and then say it at the end. I think that way's better. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so judges, write down who you thought won, I don't know, on some piece of paper, and then we'll convene after all the debates are done, and then reward the points. Okay, so
Hang on, I'm actually just looking for a pen. No one told me about it. No one told me to write shit down. Fuck's sake.
I mean, you could do it on a Word document or something. Oh wait, you're on your phone.
Yeah, no, I've got a fucking Galaxy Note 8, so I should really just do it on the screen, but it just messes my screen up. So, two seconds, I've got it anyway. Yeah.
Ooh.
What's the ooh about?
Sweet, I'm really in time for the tits debate. I mean the Nami and Tashigi.
Hayek, you're at work. Go away. Go.
I'm not at. I'm home.
Oh, what? Then why aren't you a judge?
Yeah,
Because
come
I
on.
just got home.
She's.
I am.
No right
I am.
to talk.
Me, dude. I'm not here. Who's Shisui?
I can either judge in place of Legend for this one, or me, Akashi and Shisui can switch. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
I think it's fine for just
Nani.
this debate night is fine. We'll just leave it like this.
Yeah, you guys are good. Keep it up, go.
All right, so then Shisui's just gonna spectate. All right, I'll switch.
What? Shisui was never a judge.
No, she's originally gonna be a judge.
He didn't. I'm Shisui's replacement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I guess I'm filling in for Legend because
There you
he's
go.
about to debate.
Wait, Legend's debating?
Yes. This is
Yes.
round.
Oh.
Oh, that was good.
Okay.
Shit, how do I change my name?
Should I actually pay attention, eh?
Oh, whoops. Fuck, I fucked that up.
Give me I don't know, 1 minute. I'm going AFK.
I actually only was able to hear the last thoughts on that last debate, but I really liked how they were going into the details about their past and how they each connect to the Doflamingo family. It was interesting. I was expecting more of a higher look into their abilities than more of a just look at who they fought, how they relate to stronger characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting way to go.
I actually thought the debate was gonna go oh man, see this character would curse stop this other character because blah 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 blah. I thought it would go there, but thankfully it was much more constructive.
What? Oh, there. I was like, where am I? Okay.
Okay, so the next debate will be Legendary and who?
Me.
Okay.
Before we start, is it with or without Zeus now?
Without Zeus. I don't need
Okay.
Zeus.
Okay. Well, he's not going to help you anyway.
Ooh.
Are you gonna
I don't
take that?
I don't even consider Zeus being fucking an actual fucking argument, to be honest. But whatever.
Are you gonna?
It's like-
You should totally use Zeus as an argument, like just because.
No.
A German and a British. I wonder how this is
I
going.
don't want the judges to sway their votes in the favour just because there's a like hype homie in it. You know what I mean? Fuck all that.
Well,
I mean,
you
like,
automatically
I won't,
lose.
I
So,
won't like judge you based with Zeus. Like I won't like give you the point just because of Zeus, like the hype. But like, never mind. You do what you want. Okay.
It wouldn't help with me.
Yeah, it wouldn't help him win anyway.
Well, it's like the
Nah,
same
yeah.
as Sanji's raid suit. Like, we don't even know if he's going to use
I mean, that race was overpowered.
the raid suit. We have yet to see.
Wait.
It's gonna be a Banana Man costume.
We can only hope.
Who's-
All right, go take.
Who wants to go first and second, or who both wants to go?
Ladies first.
Oh, okay, if you want to.
Hold on.
Give me a
Hold
second.
on, set the timer. Wait. Tell me when you're
Wait.
ready, and then I'll start the
Give
timer.
me a second. Yeah, I'm pretty ready.
So I can hit start.
Yeah, we
on
can
a scale of
start.
1 to 5.
3, 2, 1, go.
The fight with Tashigi versus Nami comes down mostly to whether Tashigi can lock Nami in a close combat fight. In a close combat fight, we can, I think, pretty much agree on that Tashigi is superior. She has armament haki, she has swordsman skill, while Nami's bow fighting ability seems to be mostly self-taught. She's also very strong. Like we see her deflect cannonballs and all these things. And she was then trained by Smoker and seems to be more of a fighter anyway, since Nami doesn't, among the Stride crew, she's not a fighter. She has some fights, but she's not really a fighter, while Tashigi, being a swordswoman, is clearly a fighter character type who seems to train a lot and also has some off-screen victories on her page. So it all comes down to whether she can get Nami in a close combat, because Nami's fighting style is all her attacks, like her powerful attacks, like the Thunderbolt, Tempo, and so on and so forth. They seem to be very much on a more distance, like mid-range to maybe even more distant, and they also seem to take a lot of time to prepare. Like not minutes, but she needs a bit of planning and preparation time to make these attacks. And in this regard, we can look at her fights, for example, against Miss Doublefinger and Khalifa, where she did take a lot of time, like running away from these characters, precisely avoiding close combat. Now, these characters were characters, Doublefinger and Khalifa both, that were very confident in their abilities, very arrogant, and thus having these kind of, let's call them plot conveniences, that they were strolling towards her, talking a lot, giving her a lot of time where she could prepare her moves. Tashigi, on the other hand, is a character that seems to have a bit of lack of confidence in her ability. She wants to prove that she's good, she wants respect and everything, but she's not really that confident compared to Doublefinger or Khalifa. So I think if the fight starts, she'll go straight in the fight, she'll give everything, and she's not going to give Nami any time if she can avoid it. So in this fight, what I think will be a deciding factor is that she has the Rokushiki move Zoro, which is faster than anything Nami has ever shown by far. So as far as I can tell, she is able to bridge and jump the distance that Nami needs for most of her climb attack staff abilities within the blink of a second. She can just breach it, jump into close combat right away and fight there. And that's where I think she will have a clear advantage, and where Nami won't have the ability to just stop and run away. And even if she does, Tashigi, if Nami doesn't manage to cripple her with a lucky shot, where even if she get away, Tashigi could just jump after her and Zoro right after her, and that would be it, I think. So I think as soon as she goes to close combat, if she gets there, and I think there's no reason why she shouldn't get into close combat, she wins, because that is where she's the strongest, where she has a factor. And I even think that even Zeus wouldn't make a difference there, because Nami, unlike many other characters in One Piece, is not immune to her own attacks. Even if she would get the time to to use powerful attacks like the Thunderbolt Tempo in a close combat fight. She couldn't use it because she would hit herself. And so that is my main point. And yeah, I think I'm done at this point for now.
Legendary.
Right. Well, I open by stating that Nami, compared to the rest of the crew, is very human, which kind of shows just how much of a feat she actually makes amongst the crew, in her power and everything. Compared to everyone else, obviously she's got a long way to go and a lot to prove. The fact that she is self-taught, as you mentioned, she is self-taught in her own like fighting style with the pole and learning to climb attack and everything. This kind of proves just how well balanced she is when it comes to brain power and stuff. As she actually learned to harness this power, like harnessing the weather as a weapon. And yeah, I mean, even controlling the weather itself, she essentially has the powers of a Logia type, just without the effects of being invulnerable to damage and things like that. But controlling the weather itself is just sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Controlling the weather actually just adds to her power level and everything. Yeah, as you mentioned about Tashigi getting close, obviously Nami would be at very disadvantage at close range. That's why she fights at mid-range to long range. But even if Tashigi was to get in close range, Nami still has, I trust, the Mirage Tempo, so she could still actually evade a strike by dodging into the mist, as it were. There is also the fact that she does manage to use a Thunderbolt Tempo, she does take damage, but this is why she plans ahead. She uses a smart brain to actually get ahead of her opponent, plan her attack out, and actually disguises her attack with other attacks. She's been shown to actually plan ahead and actually plant traps without the opponent seeing. Because generally, when you're fighting, you're facing your opponent. You're not looking up above yourself. So Tashigi would be at an advantage if she's focusing on trying to cut Nami when Nami's actually planting clouds above her head. I think I've done that for now.
Okay, then it's my turn again.
Yeah.
Okay, first thing first, the planning and the disguising attack. I agree with that, she does that. When we're, however, talking about a fight where they face each other in an arena-type situation where they don't have any time to plan ahead, and if you assume that both go in the fight full force and Tashigi doesn't do these mistakes that all of her previous opponents, like Miss Doublefinger, did, that they just stroll on towards her, mock her a little bit, give her time to hide and plan, which I think Tashigi won't do because she's not that confident character type who will do that. And that's when I think that Nami, faces an opponent that's just bad for her, because Tashigi is so fast that Nami, if she goes in full force, Nami won't have the time to plan these things. It's a very inconvenient opponent here because she fights at the range. Tashigi fights at the range where it's very inconvenient for Nami. She also has the speed to just jump over the range that is interesting for Nami, and she on top of that has a character type that wouldn't give Nami the ability to make use of all of the abilities he has. I agree, she is far more versatile character, far more interesting in terms of her abilities. Nami is, but Tashigi in this case, it wouldn't help her against Tashigi because Tashigi is very straightforward. She goes in with a strike. She has a very effective weapon because swords, you need very little force to actually hit somebody very, very devastatingly with a sword, while in close combat with a bow staff, you would need a lot of force to make even half the damage you can do with a sword. About the Mirage Tempo, that's a thing she can use, of course. Again, it needs time to prepare. She has to, again, control the weather to do that, control the air condition in the area, and there are ways to counter that. It doesn't seem to be the most effective illusion. It's only affecting sight. It was affecting as Khalifa, but it doesn't affect any of the four other senses. You can go against it with observation haki, and here's the assumption that Tashigi might have that, because observation haki seems to be the first haki type just about everybody, even the swordsmen that we know, that all of them focus on armament haki as far as we know. Even all of them seem to have observation haki, at least to a degree. Look at Helmepper, who, for example, is lower than Tashigi in rank in the Marines, who also has observation haki but seems to be focusing on swordsmanship, which would assume that he also focused on armament. And about the controlling her weather thing, that's something that's very effective against characters who have a weakness against water, for example, or against heat, like Monet, who has a weakness, who's Snow, who has a weakness against heat. But Tashigi doesn't have any of that, so the weather thing wouldn't help her unless you can actually hit her with a lightning strike, which I think she wouldn't be able to do because she's so much faster. Yeah, done.
Right. Okay. I don't necessarily agree like Tashigi wouldn't be like completely devastated by any sort of weather attack sort of thing, because bear in mind Tashigi is still only human as well. Yeah, she might have haki. I mean, we don't actually know enough yet whether she's got haki or not. Like, but at the same time, you know, even a gale force wind would still blow her back. You know what I mean? Like, and if Nami was create a blizzard or something, I mean, it would still slow Tashigi down. With the freezing and things like that. Obviously, the thunderbolt would be the primary weapon. This was what Nami is mostly known for, I mean, because it's the most effective type of attack. It's not necessarily. It's actually just perfect against like water type base. And at the end of the day, the human body is like 80% water or something like that. So, you know, I mean, a normal human getting hit with the lightning is going to feel the effect no matter what, even if it's like they're going to feel the effect just like a fishman would. And yeah, back to the close range thing. I think we're forgetting that Nami actually has a new climate attack. It's actually designed to be like some Wukon's stuff, which extends. So this gives Nami a bit of an advantage as well, because if Tashigi does come head on at her, she can still extend a climate attack to virtually push her back or somehow fight the sword at mid range, preventing Tashigi from getting closer. That's it. I'm done.
Okay. And now for your closing statements.
Okay. I'm blanking. Nami has, and I agree with that, she is more versatile, she has more interesting, but it wouldn't help her against Tashigi, because Tashigi doesn't need a deceitful attack to be defeated. Tashigi goes straight for close combat. Yeah, maybe she can hold her distance a little bit with the staff, but that wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be enough distance to make it not a close combat fight. It would still be a close combat fight, sword versus staff. And in this case, I think Tashigi is still superior. She has armament haki. She is a trained swordswoman. She has feats of people actually defeating people in close combat. She's defeating all of the opponents she's fought in close combat. She's never fought in any other distance. While Nami really tries to not fight in this type of distance, and that is the reason, because she's not that good at it, not that effective.
Now, legendary.
Right. Well, I think the advantage Nami has over Tashigi in that manner is the fact that Tashigi is a marine and she seems to be quite, I want to say kind-hearted in a way, but like more sort of merciful. She's been shown to actually have a heart sort of thing. So I don't think she's actually got that nature about her where she could sort of, like in the case of like Nami, she stays true to being a pirate sort of thing. She's like a cat burglar and obviously a pirate. So she's not scared to actually do sneaky things and basically like what you perceive as being like a sort of wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like she's doing something that's not morally right. Whereas Tashigi, she'll give her a chance sort of thing. If she did basically pin Nami down sort of thing, she would give her a chance to surrender. But in that sense, though, Nami would actually take that advantage when the Tashigi's guard is down. She would actually use that opportunity to strike back and potentially defeat her. So yeah.
Okay. I guess judges now write down. Wait. Oh, I guess Hayao is the judge this time. So Hayao.
It's not a legendary. Write down who won.
Hayao,
well,
DM me.
I'll try and be fair about it.
Yeah. Hayao, DM me who you thought won. Same with Akashi.
You want me just to DM it? We don't want to.
No, I'm gonna do it at the end. Like I'm gonna,
all right.
Like everyone's.
Well, between the two of you, if whatever I pick, if you want to ask me why, feel free to later.
Oh yeah,
Good debate, by the way. That was a lot harder than I thought it'd be.
Legendary. Can you DM me who you thought the first round victor was?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me directly to you or?
Yeah, just DM.
Right, yeah. Have I got you on friends list?
I'll just there. I sent you a friend request.
I could tell one thing for sure, lad. You'll probably like be more confident whenever we switch it up next week and start doing more like broad debates.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, when you mentioned earlier about Blackbeard, I was like, for fuck's sake, I would have taken that one because I'm more confident on Blackbeard. But never mind.
I mean, versus are some people's cup of tea, others.
To be fair, Nami was actually a lot harder than I thought she would be. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm going through all these things in my head, and I'm like, I'm drawing a blank now.
This is so much harder anyway. You just know what you want to say, but then you have to say it, and you just go blank. You just sit there for 10 seconds, think, what should I say?
I might as well make a comment now. Like, if I were you, I would have challenged her statement on whether she can't think before the arena, like, because there was no. Saze was able to dominate it by basically claiming that it was going to be a randomly placed fight. You could have just as easily said, you don't know the surroundings. It could have been a.
Yeah, but she would still need the preparation time to do it. I mean, she couldn't affect the weather before that, so you still need a few seconds.
I know, but in what you said,
yeah.
you didn't mention that part. You just said that she straight up couldn't because it was that style of fight. Yeah. So that would have been a way for you to get back. Also, just the fact that Lightning's pretty fast. Tashigi's never shown that she's faster than Lightning.
No, I was talking about the preparing of the clouds, because that always takes a few seconds.
Oh, I know, but during your guys' debate, you both kind of accepted the fact that Tashigi could dodge Lightning.
I never accepted that fact.
No, I didn't say she could dodge. I thought that she would be at Nami before Nami would even activate the lightning. That's what I said.
This is what I said about planning ahead and stuff. So, like, you know, the sneakiness of her attacks and everything.
I kind of hoped that you wouldn't bring up the Mirage Temple, sorry. Because the only thing I could say was basically, she might have observation haki, and... Well,
that's the problem, though. We don't know if she has got observation haki or not. So
I was kind of glad you didn't bring up her bad eyesight, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point, yeah. I should have done my homework on Tashigi. Damn.
She showed in Punk Hazard that she still can't see shit, so...
Yeah, I mean, she always has trouble with that.
You know
funnily, I was as I looked at it, I was looking at the scene of Lockdown, and she seemed to have no trouble whatsoever without her glasses then. But in Alabaster, she was just crawling on the floor, didn't know what to do.
It's like Velma and Scooby-Doo. My glasses.
Yep. Sage also really got you with the Helmeppo argument. Really, it would have been devastating if you would have brought up the fact that she couldn't see shit whenever she was in Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
Because the whole rebuttal was the fact that she'll be able to sense everything. All right, well, I got to get moving now, so good luck with the rest of the debates. Thanks for everyone that's here. Good luck, y'all.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Well, I guess I'm going to mute myself again.
We'll pick this up later.
Okay, now the next debate is who? So now we got Luck versus Opio regarding Asta versus Yuno.
What? I thought you were fourth.
Oh.
Yeah, we're fourth.
Okay,
You're fourth.
so then
Look in it's in debate night. Changes it.
so I guess
It's NL and
NL and Hidden Hockey again. Like no one else was gonna do Magellan. Like Hidden was just like, yeah, I'll do both.
What? It's the next one is the Yuno and Asta.
And apparently they're
I'll
going
change
fourth.
it. I'll change it. It's in debate night in the top. I'll send this screenshot. Yeah, he said it's the third message. The Asta and Yuno debate will now be the fourth debate of the night.
All right, so it's me now
And me.
and a no. All right,
Let me-
so do I go
You
then
didn't
first?
see that?
Hold on. Do either of you want to go first or second?
However you want.
Okay, I guess I can go
I'm
first.
gonna vomit.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so the Magellan versus Doflamingo. First things first, Magellan has a much higher role in the story when it comes to dealing with bigger threats. Okay, Doflamingo is just a warlord, whereas Magellan has to guard multiple warlords in Impelled Down. He literally had to deal with the people he was in charge of at one point was Ace, Crocodile, Jinbei, and he was still and even Shiryu, his own people, and countless other high-level pirates throughout the entire world, even people that they wanted to erase from existence. The only person who ever got past his grasp was Pirate King level, and that's just an anomaly that will never happen again, unless it's like Luffy, who also has plot powers. Magellan was capable of taking out the entire Blackbeard crew with his powers. He literally has one of the most broken fruits in the entire series, where you get hit by it, it's done. You're over. The poison, and that's the base poison. That's the weakest level of poison, instantly defeats you. His highest level of poison then goes ahead and can literally poison the ground itself. Inanimate objects get poisoned and it spreads. It's passive. He literally, and everything just dies around him. Okay? Doflamingo can try to run away. That's his best bet. You keep his distance. But Magellan can just go ahead, throw his hiders out there into a venom road, travel through his poison, and make it all the way to Doflamingo in the sky, and just continuously bombard him with more and more poison. And the thing is that Doflamingo's flying is only temporary. He needs the clouds out. If the clouds aren't there, he can't even fly then, and he's doomed, because the poison will spread and he will not escape it. Magellan can not only spread his poison through physically, but even the gas in the air. Is Doflamingo not going to breathe the entire fight? I mean, there's a certain point where all Doflamingo can do is run away, and Magellan has shown speed with his Venom Road. He can chase after him just fine. And another thing is that his Venom Demon, when he went into that form, he completely took a hell wink from Ivankov like it was nothing. So this guy has the physical stats. He has all the portrayal in the story. He has to deal with far greater threats than Doflamingo. For those reasons, I believe he's going to beat Doflamingo in this fight.
Okay. So, if we are talking about Doflamingo versus Magellan, I think that the fight will come down to who's the faster. Because the question is Doflamingo fast enough to dodge Magellan's potion? And I think that he is very much faster than Magellan. Not only we have seen him fight against GR2 Luffy and keep up with him no problem, but his strings can also allow him to fly at super fast speeds. Like he could reach Punk Hazard in about a few minutes with no problems from Dressrosa. And so if they were to fight, I think that Magellan will start attacking with his potion, with attacks. Even if he can cover a lot of space, Doflamingo can just fly away with no problem and just start shooting him with his strings. And his strings are very powerful. We've also how strong they were. And when he used the bird cage, even Fujitora couldn't break through them. And I think we can all agree that that's a bit of a plot hole, but it still happened. And even if he can pierce his potion with his strings, he still has his overheat attack, which I think is powerful enough to pierce through it and hit Magellan. And we've all saw how Magellan ended up in his knees when Luffy attacked him with his jet bazooka. And I think that Doflamingo is way stronger. He could what Magellan's potion and Hydra form isn't going to protect him against 7 holy bullets. And also, even if we take out their devil fruits, we have seen much better feats from Doflamingo than from Magellan. Like Doflamingo has better haki. He has Conqueror's haki, which is crazy. We never have seen Magellan use any type of haki, not armament, not observation. Doflamingo has all of that, and he's really strong using it. And so yeah, Doflamingo only has to hit him once, and I think that the chances of that happening are very high. So yeah, that's my argument.
Okay. So the thing is, you mentioned haki. We have no proof whatsoever that the haki can protect you from poison. If, for all we know, you get poisoned, you're done. Even characters that we know that have haki were desperately trying to escape Magellan. You know, Jinbei, Ivankov, these guys, they could do nothing to him. They had to run away. This guy has shown speed. He was able to keep up with Luffy, and because he has his Venom Road too. If the guy tries to run away from him, he just throws a Hydra out, hops into his poison, and he shoots through it like a stream, instantly getting there. Doflamingo's strings aren't going to protect him because it's a corrosive material. It's not the same as just being durable. It breaks down the material on a molecular basis where it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how tanky it is. It disintegrates it. We saw that when he put his poison on rock, that just completely melted. At the same time, Doflamingo being in the sky, that's really not a safe area because Magellan can just shoot a barrage of poisons throughout the whole sky. The chloral bombs, those things explode too. So not only can he keep shooting all these projectiles, but he can then have them explode in the air, thus making Doflamingo vulnerable to it. And the thing is, the poison spreads in the sky too. He can just keep pumping out more and more poison gas. I don't know how you get away. The only thing you can do is run away. Really, that's all I can see is you have to leave the fight. And as far as I'm considering, that's a loss. If you're just going to leave the fight and run away from him and you're not going to fight him head on, you just can't beat him. The thing is, we also know about the whole physical thing. Luffy might have made Magellan fall to his knees, but it was nothing. He literally got up and he was completely fine. And like I said, that was Magellan in his base poisons. We saw when he went into his Venom Demon, the red poison, he took Luffy's Gear 3rd plus with Mr. 3's steel level wax put onto Luffy's foot, and he took that, shrugged it off, and continued to charge at them. He got pushed back maybe an inch and kept charging forward. Then Ivankov did a direct hell wink. One of the strongest revolutionary leaders did a hell wink right into him, and he just continued to push through it. It didn't even phase him. He has tankiness and everything, and we know that when a material tries to go inside him, it just vaporizes. This guy's practically invincible. And his poisons instantly kill you. So yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. About the potion, I don't think it's that big of a deal to Doflamingo. I mean, sure, it's really strong and it's really dangerous. If Doflamingo gets hit by that, he's surely going down. But if we're talking about a fight on outside, right? For example, Doflamingo starts flying and Magellan starts attacking. But I really don't think that Magellan is fast enough to hit Doflamingo. Doflamingo moves so fast in the air. And also, if that were to happen, he could just create a clone of himself and start using that to bait Magellan into hitting the clone instead of him, while he finds a blind spot to hit Magellan with an overheat attack or one of his strings. And even if his strings might get melted by Magellan's potion, he could just imbue them with Haki so that the potion doesn't affect them. And also, you are comparing a Death Wing to 7 Holy Bullets, which I don't know. I really think that Doflamingo's attack is stronger than Ivankov's. And also, um, oh yeah, his awakening, Doflamingo's awakening, could just start attacking Magellan from all sides. Like it would give him complete control over the battlefield. And I don't really think Magellan can handle that much damage coming from all sides at once. Like he could just make the ground below him strings so that he can maybe fall off the ground and grab him there while he's occupied trying to keep up with all these attacks coming around him. And so yeah, I think Doflamingo just has a better advantage overall with like controlling the battlefield with his awakening. And he's also a lot faster, so I really don't see Magellan hitting him with his potion attacks. So yeah, that's my argument.
Okay, so my thing overall is that Doflamingo, he can have his awakening and everything he tries to throw at him, it doesn't really matter. Magellan's poison was said to be so strong that it would destroy all of Impel Down. The entire island itself would be melted down. That's literally how strong they said that this poison was. So as far as I'm concerned, like, let's just say they're fighting on Dressrosa, fine. His poison is just going to spread throughout all of Dressrosa and inevitably wipe out the entire environment. Doflamingo will have nothing to work with. He just doesn't have what it takes to take this guy out. This is the person who was put in charge to take on all the greatest threats that would be put in Impel Down. There's no way I could see Doflamingo achieving the same things Magellan did. Magellan had literally 2 warlords, a supernova, a revolutionary leader, one of the revolutionary leader's partners, like Buggy, Mr. One, he just had countless fighters. Every single one of them were running. They tried to fight him and they just lost. He instantly beat Magellan. God damn it. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Go on.
It's my turn now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even if you say that, like, I think Doflamingo could do that too. I don't think that Crocodile or Jinbei are as strong as Doflamingo. Even if they were all going against him, he could still have done as well as Magellan in Impel Down. And even if Magellan is, I think, older than Doflamingo, I think Doflamingo still has more experience than him because he has been traveling around the sea. Magellan has always been part of Impel Down. But Doflamingo has fought countless pirates in his story. And he has a lot of experience with different enemies. Also, and yeah, I just like I really think that if he hits him strong enough and with enough speed, so that Magellan gets overwhelmed by the amount of attacks Doflamingo is hitting, he will form a blind spot so that Doflamingo can finish him off.
Time.
Because if Doflamingo hits his main body, Magellan will go down in no more than 1 or 2 attacks.
Okay, it's over. Okay, so judges, DM me who you thought won.
Oof.
Okay, so now
It's us. Do, 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 do.
Hello?
Oh shit!
wait.
You're really loud. You're really loud.
Okay. Am I better?
Sure. All right.
So-
You ready? Like,
sorry.
you ready?
No.
Ready? Like,
I'm sorry. I was server muted for good reasons. I don't want to go into what happened, but stuff happened.
you were talking, dude. Come on.
Yeah, you don't want to know what I was talking about. Someone was trying to Never mind. Stuff
Just
happened.
remember
But let's
this is
just say
being
that.
recorded.
Yeah. That's
Yo,
one for the
dude.
history books. Don't. That's one
Alright.
for the history books. I'd say. I don't want to talk about what I was talking about. What I was talking
So
about.
wait, is Highlight here?
No.
Wait, who are the judges right now? You. All right, like, you ready?
Yeah, I just want to make sure all the judges are ready for me to start my argument, and then we will go.
Well, I called dibs first, so.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I
so
called dibs.
did you? Did you actually?
Well, I just did it right now, so GG.
Boo! No, coin toss. Actually,
Technically,
no.
Luck
No,
called
no
it.
coin.
Technically, Luck called it first, but
No.
well, because like
Yep.
he said, I'll start, and then you were just like, but I called dibs, which means, and
Yep.
then if you're saying you did it just now, Luck already.
Well, I did it like a
Yep.
couple hours ago, so I don't know what you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
No,
we'll
no.
flip a coin. We'll flip a coin.
Heads.
Both.
That's.
I mean tails.
Doesn't work.
I-
Hope you try again.
Tails.
Okay, I go heads. I'm locked.
Okay. One is a head, two is a tails. The fuck, Cora?
Okay.
Why you do this?
I'll go one heads.
Oh, I didn't do it right. My bad.
Ooh.
Oh, guess Opio's going first.
Yay.
Good.
All right.
Not yet though.
Do we need, who else are we waiting for? Shisui? Shisui, my birthday.
No, we don't need Shisui.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
I can go.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me properly? Is my voice too loud?
Oh my God! Stop making me keep resetting this timer. Are you gonna go or not?
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going for the Yuno side in the Asta versus Yuno debate. Yuno is a wind magic user with the 4-leaf clover that has practically almost unlimited magic, as said by quite a few people. The guy that looks like Gandalf, the guy with the sister fetish, and like himself. He has wind magic that can beat just plain wind magic that can beat high-ranking members of the Golden Dawn without zero to no difficulty at all in the royal exams. He has a wind stealth that boosts his attack stats so high that he went from getting practically no diffed by Mars, who was beating Asta, Noel, Luck, Mimosa, Glasses Guy, and Yuno himself. And then once he obtained the Sylph, he practically one-shot him. He can even combine himself with the Sylph to be able to fight a captain who is, as I say, top 20 in the story. And that captain's real. And this isn't even counting the boost he got for Curse in the latest arc, which is so strong. It made Luck, who would get no diff probably by Asta, to being able to being equal to Asta, Vanessa, who's like probably like future strongest female in the verse with their changing of fate magic, and Magna. The way that I view Asta losing to Yuno is based on speed, as Yuno has shown that he is significantly faster than Yuno, as seen when he beat him in the race to the top of the volcano trials. Yuno is even single-handedly beat incredibly fast block 0 in the Royal Knight exams. Asta doesn't have this, and I might say that Asta doesn't have the stamina to fight somebody like Yuno, as the only way that he can actually beat him is with his demon form, and his demon form is like has never lasted for more than a chapter and can only use one special move, and he's forced out of it for the remainder of the fight. He also has, I think it's just a bad matchup. He has the distance advantage as he's a mid and long range fighter, and Yuno's a close range. Asta's a close range fighter. And one of the things that's wrong with Asta is that he's always getting overwhelmed by attacks, as seen with Magna, Langris, and even Luck. And Magna isn't even that fast, to be honest. And as they were overwhelming him, and to be honest, I don't even think Asta can get inside his demon form fast enough before Yuno attacks him. As it took the entire Zito versus Langris fight to even get into that form, and 20, 15, 10, even 5 seconds. Yuno isn't that type of character to just let that opportunity go and attack him. He's not that type of character. He doesn't pity him. He doesn't pity him to a point where he would just give him the opportunity to power up because he thinks he's stronger. That is it.
Okay, so do I go with my points now?
Good luck, dude, and don't do drugs in school.
What?
Okay.
Okay, go on. Look.
Okay, let me start. Now, when it comes to Asta as a fighter, or Asta as a person in general, when it comes to fighting, mainly when it comes to this is Asta is an adapter. Like Asta is able to adapt to any situation, even if his back is up against the wall, and it's due to the words that never left him. Leon's words of "stay calm" have always left with him constantly throughout the story, as he would constantly bring it up constantly throughout the story. Now, not only that, but looking at Asta's physical stats, this guy has the ability to run up on walls and dodge rather quickly due to his muscles, and not only that, but jump very high in order to avoid things coming directly at him in his direction. Now, besides that, Asta takes past events into account and use them for future purposes. Like for example, when he was fighting up against Magna during that one arc during the tournament arc with his constant appearing and reappearing fire baseballs, Asta adapted really quickly and was able to get at least 4 out of 5 of the balls each time before they were hurting the crystal. Not only that, during the Fauna invasion arc, Asta was analyzing her as his statement about how she is not as fast as Veto, showing that he was watching her speed to see how fast he would go versus his previous opponent, being Veto himself. And not only that, as we've seen, Asta's endurance in the story of how he's able to deal and handle the pain of crushed arms, as we've seen, because Veto did crush his arms, and then Asta said, "I'm not done yet," showing that he did not succumb to the pain of literally having your bones mashed within your arms and being unable to use them. Now, before that, he was also basically slammed into the wall, body first, when Veto, I believe, punched him back when he and Kyoto were fighting Veto at once, and he was able to get up from it relatively quickly, compared to anyone else would. Now, not besides that, Asta has Ki, which would give him the advantage of assuming he stays calm, advantage of where things are, particularly in his environment at any particular time, and if he needs to either block, defend, or roll out the way, he will do so uninterruptingly. Now, rather recently in the arc, we've shown that Asta is able to go past his limits. I mean that not in a power-up type way, but in a type of backed up against the wall type of way. Like, he has said that he can only go into his demon form twice a day, and then we've seen him break his limits, and he was able to go into it a third time when fighting up against sword-wielding Leech, showing that his limits are only something in which he can surpass in situations such as an opponent like Yuno. And not only that, Asta has lived with Yuno for a majority of his life, showing that he may understand how Yuno may fight, according to how he knows Yuno's personality, showing that he will not only not underestimate Yuno, but he will fight him in such a way that is worthy of him fighting him, such as not as an equal, but as a opponent that cannot be taken lightly. And that's my opening statement.
All right, Opio, go on with your response.
And as you said, you did say that Asta is able to endure more damage, even though in the latest arc when they fought Licht, they both took on a head-first attack by Licht, and which both sent them down to the ground. And once they landed to the ground, it appeared that Yuno had been awake for much for longer than Asta, and it seemed that Asta, who you're saying has a better durability than Yuno, was asleep and had just more fatigue than Yuno, even though Yuno took two blasts from Licht, who was like the top tier in the verse, and all Asta had was getting pushed back to hit the wall, and just a little scratch on his and you did and you did say that his ki would allow him to be able to adapt to the situation, as ki can is like observation hockey, I guess you could say. But even then, I don't think he can adapt fast enough up to a point where he would pretty much find out all of Yuno's attack coordination or whatever, as Yuno is like insanely smarter than Asta. He's by far more gifted. He would adapt to the situation as he adapted to the situation when he was first getting his mana skin in the volcano trials, where he adapted instantly, even faster than Asta. So I believe that Ki wouldn't really play too much of a factor, as Yuno can also adapt to the situation. And you also said that Yuno would be able to that Asta knows Yuno so much that he could kind of just figure out his fighting style or whatever. Even though we know that they have barely made each other, from the current story to from when they used to live together, the time period has only like a year or so. So has been a year or so. So like, and they've only met like 3 times in between that year. So I don't understand how he can like know his fighting style, even though he's gotten so many power-ups throughout the story. And pretty much changed his entire fighting style since he got the Sylph, as he can pretty much put his whole body with mana. And he had to change his whole fighting style when he got that. So I don't see how Asta can just since he lived with him, he can he knows how he works and stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now what I have to say is earlier before you said what you just said, you also mentioned the fact that you believe that because Yuno is a long-range fighter, that he'd be able to stay out of Asta's reach. But if you remember when Asta was fighting with the guy from the Diamond Kingdom and his Ladros, I believe, yes, and Ladros got on a broom and was far distant away because he knew that Asta relied on both Finral and Vanessa. Asta threw his sword in the direction of him, and I was able to take him down. So the long-range problem won't be too much of an issue as long as he's able to land a hit into Yuno, and since he can read Yuno's ki, that wouldn't be such a problem for the long run. Now, also, as for the durability thing, both of them were blocking the attack sent from Leech, so it's not like both of them took significant damage from that one attack, and we haven't really seen in the story Yuno be able to take on force blunt attacks straight to the body, as opposed to magical attacks that send him flying back. Because as we've seen in that fight, Yuno was taking that, but he was also protecting the most at the same time. And what that shows is that it wasn't really affecting him so much to the point where it was getting in his way, quote unquote. Now also earlier during the fight, earlier during the elf fight, when Asta met up with elf glasses guy and elf fatso, as I'm gonna call them because their names elude me. They were throwing steel and glass at him, and some of them did hit him. However, even though it hit Asta, he still wasn't trembling or going down. He was just suffering pain, but he was still able to talk fine, still able to move around fine. Even after that, he went to his, he went into his demon form just fine, and it didn't seem to damage him too horribly. Now also, not to forget that even though Asta, you may say he might be able to adapt to Yuno's, wind power since it can come from close or from afar. As we've seen, Asta has that tornado ability, as we've seen both in game and in story, that he just rolls around super fast, basically creating a shield of anti-mana around him, protecting him from both close and long-range attacks. And not only that, we've seen that Asta can, assuming you give him the right time, can cut through Yuno's attacks and just get closer to Yuno and closer, and throwing his weapon at Yuno, throwing his weapon straight through Yuno's attacks would also help him affect him rather quickly. And not only that, we also need to take into consideration the fact that Asta being much more shorter than Yuno, would also have the advantage of, height advantage. Done. Finished.
All right, so it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yep, your turn.
Well, okay? They you said that they both took significant damage. That you said that they didn't take significant damage in the fight against Lick, even though from that one beam, even though it knocked down Asta, and it seemed that Yuno had just practically had no fatigue. His face was all cleared up. And if you want to say that he got healed by Mimosa, he didn't actually, because the captain of the Silva, from the oldest brother from the Silva, that's the captain, he even said that he even gave him a potion to because he knew that if he knew that they weren't healed yet, so he gave him a potion to apply for that. So if he was already healed, he wouldn't need a potion to begin with. And he said that Yuno's defense is weak, even though he as I said, he took a point-blank attack from Licht better than Asta did, even though he had definitely more damage than Asta. And you said the spinning and Asta can how do I say it?
Time.
And it's time. And the spinning attack runs out. After he uses a spinning attack, which is a special move, it runs out immediately, so you can't use the demon form anymore.
Time. Okay. Luck, you got 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, here I go. Okay, as we've seen during that fight or during the whole event, we've seen that Asta was fighting way longer than Yuno was. So Asta would be much more tired, fatigued, and also damaged because Yuno barely took as much damage as Asta. Because if you remember during that fight specifically, okay, Yuno was in a trance and no one was hurting him because they thought that he would come around later. Asta, however, had to deal with Glass and Steel Guy. Marks, no, not Marks. The guy with glasses and Fatso from the Golden Dawn, because their attacks did hit him at first. Two, meaning he had to deal with that before Yuno woke up. Also, Asta's demon form hurts him every time he goes into it, and as far as we know, Yuno's form doesn't hurt him or affect him too badly, showing that Asta had the one to go through the most pain as opposed to Yuno did. Now going back to something earlier, Asta has dealt with attacks where people who can fight like Yuno very similar to him, so we cannot outweigh the fact that Asta has and does pick up from his previous fights and never lets anything he's learned from them hurt him, or not aid him in future events.
So judges, give DM me who you got one.
So is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Damn on them haters.
Good job, guys.
Right. Nice one, Luck.
Thank you, Opio, and let's do it again in the future, some far distant future, as in a few months, as in a few weeks, I mean.
Yep.
Good.
So is it our turn yet?
No, the judges are still discussing.
All right.
I've just noticed Shisui's name.
Yeah, just.
He's just here for some reason.
Well, no, actually, he's not here.
Nah, he is. He is. He's been typing.
I know he's here. Name.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
Hello. Never mind. Never mind.
Before we move on to the next one, though, when you finish talking, could you mute your mic so that when the other person starts talking, because on both sides, not just not about anyone, but on both sides, I could hear giggling when the other one was talking, like the other one was giggling. You get what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, I just noticed it. Obviously, I'm not. I didn't want to say anything in the middle of the debate, but I thought I'd point it out now. So obviously, when someone's finished talking, mute their mic, and then unmute when they need to start talking. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
My turn.
So we got Aeon and Zayed. Which one of you guys want to go first, or do neither of you want to go first?
And you want me to go first, right? And
Wait, is he even here? Oh yeah, he is.
yeah, he's here. He's here.
Yo, ho, Aeon, unmute your mic.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Do either of you?
So you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You don't have to.
I don't know, man. You just want
I
to
can
roll
flip a coin, or roll.
Yeah, flip a coin. Just flip a
Yeah,
coin.
that's fine.
Okay, who's heads and tails?
Tails.
I'm heads.
Okay. And Aeon's going first.
Okay.
Hold on, let me set the timer. 5 minutes, go. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Blackbeard is stronger than Akainu because one, he's a mastermind. Okay, Blackbeard's really smart. He's really deceptive, and he's really good at making plans. Which Akainu is a leader, but I don't think he's good and as dedicated as to making plans as Blackbeard is. Blackbeard. Blackbeard, set up the whole thing with the Yami Nomi, the whole all of Marineford is Blackbeard's fault, man. That's planning right there. All went to plan, and Blackbeard orchestrated all of that. He's really dedicated to his dream, which I feel like puts him in an edge over Akainu, because Akainu is just fighting. His dedication stronger than Akainu is my point, and power wise, I'd say he's above Akainu because, well, Blackbeard didn't have hockey post time skip, but we don't know whether he's obtained it post time. Oh, sorry, he didn't have hockey pre time skip. We don't know he's obtained it post time skip, so he may have that. Plus, he doesn't need armament hockey as long as he has the Yami Nomi. He can negate all of the defense that Alogia is given just with his Devil Fruit. Plus, any long-range attacks, like the one that that Akainu devastated Marineford with, he can swallow up using Black Hole. So Akainu is going to have to get up close and personal, which is where the Gura Nomi comes in. Not only is it capable of producing, say, a tsunami or shifting the island like we saw in Marineford, but it also is good at close-range combat, And I don't think Akainu would... Akainu can fight for 11 days, but I don't think he'd be able to stand up for that long against an attack like the quakes that come from the Gura Nomi. And and we do see that Blackbeard can tank attacks. People say that Akainu being able to take all that damage from Whitebeard after he kills Ace and gets knocked on the ground. I mean, Blackbeard does that too, and he gets in the manga it's way worse. He gets fucking all the way down his chest. He gets cut by Whitebeard's Bicento. He takes a really bad wound and he just keeps up and he keeps on fighting Whitebeard. And and I think the biggest thing that puts Blackbeard over an edge to Akainu is how ruthless he is. Akainu will slaughter an island full of innocent people, but Blackbeard will, kill all his Nakama, betray Ace, betray Whitebeard, the people that he saw as his family, kill Thatch just to get what he wants. He'll stop at nothing to achieve his goals, which is to be Pirate King. He's kind of he's a mirror of Luffy in that way. That's he's the opposite of Luffy, and he has that same drive that Luffy does.
Was that? Okay, so now it's Zayed.
So do I go now?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start by stating 2 points I'm going to base the rest of my argument on. First of all, I'm quite sure that Blackbeard has gotten much better with the Gura Nomi post-time skip, but I still do not believe he's better than old Whitebeard with the Quake Fruit. Whitebeard has had much more experience with the fruit. The second point, a lot of people want to think that Blackbeard has better physical ability for post-time skip, which I personally disagree with, but regardless, I don't believe that he has gotten better physical durability and stamina than old Whitebeard. Pre-time skip, Blackbeard was regurgitating blood because pre-time skip, year 2, Luffy hit him with a jet pistol. Akainu put holes in Whitebeard with individual magma attacks. 3 holes, one in his chest, one in his belly, and one that took off half his face. And we also know that Blackbeard also takes more damage than other people. 1 or 2, maybe 3 successful magma fists would do in Blackbeard. Blackbeard. Sure, Blackbeard, I can agree that he can block many of those attacks using the Yami Yami Nomi and the Guruguru Nomi, but I'm sure Akainu can pull off a few successful attacks because I also definitely believe that current Blackbeard is still weaker than old Whitebeard, because Akainu still managed to pull 3 successful attacks on Whitebeard. One more thing is that Whitebeard, as I stated before, is better with the Quake Fruit than Blackbeard, and I also believe that bloodlusted power boosts are a thing in anime and manga. Whitebeard bloodlusted put out his strongest Quake Bubble attacks against Akainu, and he got out no problem. I could also go on about Akainu getting stronger post time skip, but I don't believe it. So that's my opening, I guess. You go.
Okay. For one, I'd like to mention something I forgot to in my first section. Pre Devil Fruit Blackbeard put that scar on Shanks, presumably when Shanks had both of his arms. So I think that just base physical Blackbeard, I think you're underestimating him, because if base physical Blackbeard is enough to do that to, a Yonko tier fighter back when he was a the 4th or 5th commander on Whitebeard's ship, then we can only presume that he's gotten stronger since then. I think that's a fair thing to assume. And regarding the damage that Whitebeard took during Marineford, yeah, Akainu put those holes through Whitebeard, but also regular normal fodder was doing that to Whitebeard as well. So it's not exactly hard to hit Whitebeard. Whereas with the Yami Yami, yes, if you catch Blackbeard off guard, he'll be hit and he'll take I think it's twice as much damage as a normal person. But I do think his endurance is enough to take whatever Akainu can dish out. And like I said earlier, a lot of the attacks that Akainu would have hit Whitebeard with are going to be negated either by the Yama Yami's inherent power to suck out the powers of a Logia, or just opening a black hole and swallowing any long ranged attack that Akainu does. And
do I go?
You
want to still go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First, you said that pre-Yami Yami Nomi Blackbeard put scars on Shanks with 2 arms. I personally do not believe he did that in a fair fight, considering he also was not willing to fight Shanks after he got the Guruguru Nomi in Marineford. You can also you can say that he made that decision because Shanks was fresh and Blackbeard got a lot of damage from Whitebeard, but Blackbeard was still willing to take on the likes of Sengoku. And you also said something about that the attacks that Akainu gave Whitebeard, a lot of them were blocked using the Guruguru Nomi. I have stated before that I do not believe that Blackbeard has better prowess using the Guruguru Nomi than old Whitebeard. And you also said that the Yami Yami Nomi can stun many Logia-based attacks from Akainu. I still believe that many of Akainu's attacks will connect to Blackbeard, considering Ace hit many of his attacks on Blackbeard when he only was focusing on his Yami Yami Nomi. So there's that.
Is that your response? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yes, it is.
So, with that in mind, I think you're ignoring what I said about the Yama Yami Nomi conjunction with the Guruguru. Because my point was that Akainu did give out all that damage to Whitebeard, and he also tanked all the damage that Whitebeard did with the Quake Breakthrough. And I'm not sure I agree with you because of how old and sick Whitebeard was, that his attacks were as potent as they could be, or as potent as I think Blackbeards are now. But my point was that not that the Gura Nomi would be able to damage Akainu more,
10 seconds.
is that all the damage that was holding Whitebeard back during that final section where he was bloodlusted and beating on Akainu so much, was that a lot of that damage would be negated by the Yami Yami Nomi. And I think all of the damage that we've seen Blackbeard take in the series, whether it's the Fire Fist Ace, Magellan,
I gotta cut it off. Okay. Next.
How much do I have left?
1 minute.
All right. I'm just gonna refute the argument you made about you disagreeing with me on that Blackbeard is worse than Whitebeard using the Gura Nomi. I think that's not the case, considering yes, Blackbeard did pull off very powerful attacks using the Gura Nomi in Marineford, but that was just him throwing around his power. Whitebeard had many, many more years using the fruit, and I also stated that his physical ability coincides very well with his usage of the Gura Nomi, and I don't think Blackbeard has that amount of physical ability, strength, durability, stamina, and I don't think that he can use the Yami Yami Nomi to block many low-based attacks, but I think that this fight particularly is going to be very close range, considering I don't think Blackbeard can damage Akainu long range. Since he's a Logia and Quakes, the Quake attacks I don't think can work on a Logia in long range. He has to imbue Haki with the quick bubbles close range. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, judges. DM me who you think won.